Hi, I'm back from holidays to only return to give you another crypto review, and this one is on Pyth Network. If I was to sum it up in a few words, Pyth is a Oracle solution based on the Solana network, where Chainlink is based on the Ethereum networks, pretty much competitors. It first caught my attention recently with the Crypto Banter show on YouTube. From another source, I got to be impressed by the purpose and achievement so far with this project, and hence it has potential of a 100x token. It has some impressive tokenomics along with many more um, performance metrics. When it came out initially, it was the day I found out about it. The airdrop came on the day I found out about it, and we discussed this on our Telegram forum and traded and hence leverage and spot trading. So far, so good. It's a new airdrop coin, but it has been in development since 2021. So here we've got Pyth, and we will give you a reference as well as a chart analysis and potential scenarios to trade. As you see, we have the Pyth network so far, and what we'll do is give you a reference to obtain more information through Invest Answers on the YouTube channel, as well as give you a chart analysis and potentially scenarios to trade this. It's not going to be easy because it's not a complete perspective. It can't be because it's early days. But what we can do is tell you some of the information we've obtained so far that could potentially help you go a long way. The YouTube channel, Invest Answers, does a great job with the Python review in detail. And so don't miss out on it. Look it up and make up your own mind, which is a direct competitor on the Ethereum network. It definitely has better performance than Chainlink because of the Solana being the supporting blockchain and has a lot of things going for it. So it's best for you to look at this data and make up your own mind with a potential accumulation or trading strategy. We discussed this on our channel as well. Towards the end of this video, we will look at comparing Chainlink, ARB, and Optimism early day price action and compare it with Pyth. We might see some fractals that come into play for the scenarios. And one could imagine that if Pyth does take off well, it could capture at least 40 to 50% of the Oracle market, more so with Chainlink. So let's begin. So let's look at the assumptions that I made in the early days. Basically, what I did was when it came onto Bybit, it came as a spot. And so the perpetual contracts couldn't come ahead of that. You had to wait for the spot to be filled with the inventory. And my initial buy was there, looking for the double bottom. So I did a good job in there. So I bought it there and I bought more along the way up. And I did call this to be a strong resistance. So far, so good. Now, sometimes it's worth backing up what I say because we want to encourage people to join our channel. So on our community, the earliest one I have is there. I gave them a heads up on what day was it? 20th of November up there, and basically talked about Pyth and the airdrop. And when it did come up, this was my first. No, that's the next one. I was watching it, trying to get an idea, and here you can see I bought Pyth, averaging in, like I said, just under 30 cents. Moving along, let's just pick anything at random. Go baby, I'm calling it out. I had my Fibonacci, so I assumed that was the golden ratio, and I aligned it with the 1.272, and I pretty much instructed the guys that it's likely to hit the 1.618 to find resistance. So I tweaked it a bit just to make sure these are lined up with certain levels, and sure enough, you can see it hit it perfectly in a sense. Let's just fix it up. Here, if I was to just get that won't help. Let's pick another template and reverse that. That's not the right one. And here we go. I've got to fix up these templates at times when I need it. But here we go. So what I did, if we just move this across, we aligned the golden ratio as a major resistance. Makes sense. It's a good strategy, guys. So that was my initial, I said, all right, that's my golden ratio, 618, and we followed it. And once we got that 1.272 as a pullback, I looked at it from that perspective, and I lined it up with the next, which 1.414, bit of a pullback, got the 10 and 20 moving average, which is our trend. I'll use the 1 hour actually. So if we to go to the 1 hour, it will actually do a better job in that sense. So we're using this 10 and 20 moving average ribbon, and sure enough, we found it. Now we could see bearish divergence coming along, and you see this topping off structure, double top and start to pull back. Fortunately, I couldn't trade this area, but now I'm looking at this from another perspective, where we go from there. So we did a good job in averaging in. We averaged in there, we averaged in there, and we averaged in there, and therefore we're way ahead in profit. I did both perpetual and spot. Now that we hit what looks like to be a wave 5. So I looked at a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can argue where that 3, 4 is. You can probably say that. It's just semantics at this point. And I'm expecting a pullback, ABC. Now here we had our initial golden ratio as support. So it wouldn't surprise me that this becomes our level of interest. However, sometimes it's front run. So it's nasty, but on the 1 hour, you can see that if we started getting a reversal, we might see it there of a bullish divergence. Small time frame, it's very difficult to say, but if it keeps holding at this point, the 1 hour doesn't really help us. But what we did see from a trading strategy perspective, this was our previous low, and that was our SFP. So it went, but it hit the 1 hour trend resistance. So here we had a bit of a bear flag and drop. So that will look like an ABC. The question is, do we have a 5 wave or a 3 wave? All right, so that's the hard part. We want to see this hold. If it does hold, we're going to find this as strong resistance and potentially come down here. So that's why I put this channel, middle of the channel, and so on. So it's just an assumption. We can't go with it. And if we lose this golden ratio, it's likely that we come all the way down. Now, from a Wyckoff perspective, it's interesting. It does line up with buying climax, and now we're getting a pullback. So it wouldn't be surprising me to come to here or further down. We could compare this with other charts, and we'll do that towards the end. Now, looking at this chart here, if we were to assume that this is a head and shoulders, which is left shoulder, head, right shoulder, from there to there is our height, measured height, and therefore there, it's almost in line with what I said before, the measured move. So it wouldn't surprise me to just go below this one here this week, take the liquidity, and then back up. So let's have a look at that from a perpetual perspective. There we go. So that will be an interesting level to look at. It's also in line with our measured move, so it's probably going to find support there. It's in line with what we got here, really. So let's have a look at that. Right there where we found a resistance. Okay. I'm going to just line up with the right chart for spot, and it's right there. Let me just see that. That was our wick. So somewhere in there, I'll find it as a major level of support, which just lines up with this golden ratio area. Now, there is that possibility, we're on a 50-50% chance of going back up, or going down. All right. The 1 hour can't really help us, a short time wise. So we're stuck really. What we need to do is probably try use some other tools, but there's no guarantee what's going to take place. All we can do is observe and respond. We can't really plan much with this small time frame. So let's look at wave trend. Just a few tools. So this is basically bottomed on the 1 hour. And what can we do? The Phoenix is very bearish, so that sucks. And we can see how on the 1 hour, once we break this level, it just dropped. And you can see how that was a good night 1 hour trend. And that's our ABC really. Now this could continue to further down, and that's the hard part. We're in line with this channel, the bottom of the channel. So I'm looking for an SFP move, taking out the liquidity of this one and potentially that one, and this will be a nice area to see a swing failure pattern. So if we see a wick, or what they call is a pin bar, we might just continue up, find some resistance, and I'm looking for that kind of move, basically here. A double bottom and then up, and then we'll get this confirmation that this channel is a level of significance, and then we might just see something further up. And that's what we're looking at. If we were to change this to the 4 hour, it's not going to really help us. 4 hour, we want to see this crossover and we want to see this come up. So from the 4 hour, there's not much to look at. So and if we look at the 2 hour, we're just guessing what's taking place, and therefore we're just going to go with what we observe. Really, you can't plan much. So I'm looking for this type of scenario, ideal. Otherwise, it's likely to continue dropping. So if we lose this level, we might hit this level and take it from there. We might get something better, another top of parallel channel, and then bullish up that way or further down. And we want to see this starting to make a bullish divergence. But from the 2 hour perspective, I like this idea that if we get something like that and a rejection, then we can potentially long here as well. The RSI is the only way we can use this, and we're looking for here. There is no bullish divergence on the 2 hour, 1 hour or 2 hour. So we're just going to go with candlesticks, and it's not much really. And that's the only level of significance at this point I can see. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Let's look at this from another perspective, a downward channel. Yep, the downward channel is another strategy, but we don't know until it happens. I'm interested anything below 20 cents, really, to go along. So we've got this fib extension of 1 based on a few assumptions that might come in handy, and find that as well. Now, we got this. Let's compare it with 2 other coins. Optimism, I remember that was the early days, and we'll look at Chainlink as well, and Arbitrum. When Arbitrum first came out, we can see it also had a level of support. We had our pullback, hit its range, and then did its high. So the question is, did we do that? And if we see something like this, then this is going to be a bullish movement. So that's one fractal that I'm looking at. However, we probably already did that. That's the thing. Like this one went up from that bottom to there. It went up 27%. That was 60%, and Pipe did something similar, 60%. So if we do look at that, to there, it actually did 97%. So I would say that's already aligned, and then we're doing this type of thing. And if it breaks that trend line, like I put there, then we've got this downward channel. And that's where I get this downward channel from, potential. Let's look at optimism. It's early days. It was slightly different, and obviously a different time when it first came out in the cycle. But it might give us a clue. Let's have a look. I remember buying Optimism right at the bottom. Pretty lucky in that sense. Because Optimism broke out on my channel there. So we had Optimism drop. It didn't really do a rally up. It just dropped. But we've got this double bottom accumulation with some SFP moves and then up. And that went up 400 something percent. So I did buy this and never revisit. So I'm doing well. And I think it might never come back down. So we bought some, took some profit, bought some here and so on. It was difficult to trade, but you can see this pattern is very different. And it dropped, Optimism dropped 80%. So if Python drops 70 to 80%, let's see where that could be. We say from there, if it's 70%, 78% there, 70% there, and 80% there. So that will be the area I'll be interested in if it does happen. This is definitely an area of interest. And that is below 20 cents. So definitely that's a good area to buy over time. It really depends on what Bitcoin does, but that's, if it does come all the way down, that might be a great accumulation range, and we'll look for a double bottom type of thing and then up. So those are my thoughts, guys. It's just planning at this point, number of scenarios, and you can see it's going to be very difficult to work it out. We have some things in line so far, but it's a puzzle. And 70-80% drop is not unusual. So, and that will be a good buy for the long term. Now let's look at Chainlink in terms of what it did when it first came out, how much percentage. So it's in the same category. That was the bottom for whatever reason. It went up 1,000% based on this way, which is a 10x. From 30 or 40 cents, it went to $4. All right. So that is on the cards. And then after that, from the bottom in the bull run, you know, it went up to $54, from 40 cents to $54. So that's, you know, 135x, I think it is. That is impressive. So that could be on the cards. Now, from 40 cents to $4 to 50, then what is it? Then $20 and then $54. Can we do that? Let's have a look. So if it was to come down here, I don't think it will be in the same range, but if we were to say there, okay, 100, okay, there we go. So ultimate top, about $17. If that was the case. The other one, round numbers, yep. There's probably no point to it because early days, but you can imagine if you bought it at the bottom, it could be a real good buy for long term with Python Network. It's impressive and it's got a lot of potential. Here's some stats with Chainlink and Python based on number of assumptions. Python ecosystem, you can see it's already taken off. The Python tokenomics, which is about how much is in their hands versus how much in private hands and into the system, it is much more generous. It's really well established to be in the public sphere, so that's pretty good. You can see its industry, how it's been engineered. It's got Arbitrum, Polygon, Ethereum, Optimism, BNB Chain, and look at these external companies. So pretty good there. Now this is the most impressive part. It's available on 40 blockchains, Python. where Chainlink is available on 15 blockchains. So you can see how much they've done in terms of adapters to other chain blockchains. And you can see the price feeds. So, and it's very quick as well. Much quicker than Chainlink. And here are some numbers of the Pyth numbers basically. So we'll leave it at that and have a look at as much as you can. Is it a Chainlink killer? Could be. And so just look at what it can take off Chainlink and potentially what price it can go to. So I would dare say that it will be smart to split your investments across Chainlink and Pyth. What percentage? The rest is up to you. I'm going to wrap it up on that, guys. Please give me a like and share, and I'll talk to you soon.